Good morning, we're here at the Emerald City on our way to the archives to see what's up really, because they were refurbishing them last time we were there, to see what the breakfast options are.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
It's a new cafe, it's looking good. We're in BHS. If you're watching this a long time in the future, BHS was a British department store which had ad shops all over the country actually, and then a man called Philip Green came along and sunk it. Anyway, it's a bit like a zombie apocalypse, clearing sale in here. So we've spent most of the afternoon cleaning the flat because it's been a long time. It was well before we went on holiday to where do we go again? To Mauritius. Yeah, and it needed it, but that wasn't what you'd call fun. But we did a fair bit of shopping in Kingston. Didn't buy a lot, but we looked at a lot of things, including wedding rings and that kind of stuff. So the planning is ongoing. Anyhow, today is the most important day in the sporting calendar. No, not Wimbledon. No, don't care. Not Euros. Don't care about that either. Not important. It is the start of the Tour de France, which is pretty impressive because it actually goes through the bit of Switzerland that we always visit this year, so we'll be watching that before I get there. And also it is the Palio, the most important horse race in the world. Now technically it's been run and someone's won it, I just don't know who that is yet, so I need to look it up. Good morning, it's a very lovely day. I've had to move a lot of the plants out here. It's a bit of a jungle, as you can see. It's a sort of a geranium jungle. Anyway, we are going into Kew today. It's part of the wedding fair. I did mention the Palio yesterday and said I didn't know who won. I do now know who won. It was Lupa. This is their emblem. Each one of the contradas has its own flag and symbol. Lupa is the she-wolf, which you can see in the middle there. And yeah, they won yesterday. Slightly annoying, if I'm honest. They are the arch nemesis of the contrada which I've sported since I first went to CNO about, let's just say, a long time ago. It's actually a beautiful day. I didn't think it was going to be warm for a while, but it's warm. In fact, it's very warm, and I haven't yet had breakfast, so that does beg the question. 21 degrees they reckon highs are today. Unless the cloud comes, it's going to be more than that.
And then 80 for the evening reception, and then you can have about an extra 30 or 40 for the like after party. Do you guys have a set up? Can I have a look? Feel free if you want to have a sit. Would you actually first? Sorry.
Maybe someone's actually started properly. I know I'm cursing it by saying that, but this is Monday morning. Look how nice it is. I'm really hoping it holds. More importantly, actually, if I'm honest, is that the weather's nice when we get to Switzerland in 3 weeks tomorrow. Not that I'm counting. I am counting. Hey kids, so I'm at home this afternoon briefly. I'm about to go off to an award show. I'll explain a bit more in a moment. I'm just busy trying to sort out this weekend where I'm supposed to be at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Sounds awesome. Not quite that simple. Nothing in this life is, but hopefully we'll get there. So I'm working this evening at the Grosvenor House Hotel, and I figure what better way to get there than to walk. So that's what we're going to do. Now this is a walk I haven't done in quite a long time. Certainly not this year, and it's July now, so. Because it's always traditional that I comment on the biggest news story of the week, I think it's probably fair that I'd say a couple of words about the Chilcot report. It contains nothing particularly amazing. It really just confirmed what most people had thought at this point. It's not to say it wasn't worth it, it was absolutely worth it. It's worth it because you want an expert to go through all the facts and evidence and tell you what actually happened, rather than you just having a feeling about it. It did take too long though, that's for sure. Basically it confirmed that Tony Blair and his government, and by extension Parliament, in the majority at least, decided to go to war in Iraq because they felt it was the right thing to do, despite the fact the evidence was not there. They felt that they would be vindicated long term, and I believe that they're wrong. I think history will show that they actually made the area more unstable and not more stable. And it's very easy to argue that Saddam Hussein was not a good man, because he wasn't, and that, you know, therefore the country and the world would be better off without him. And that's fine, except when you don't have a plan for what you're going to do after that, because you're just hoping, frankly, that it'll sort of come together. And in this case, it was basically proved that the majority of experts knew what they were talking about, and the gut feeling of a smallish number of politicians was inadequate. Does this sound like anything else? Yes, I imagine we'll be having this conversation in about 10, 12 years' time, when again, it turns out that the gut feeling of a few politicians swaying a large proportion of the country in this particular instance decided that it felt better to be outside the European Union, even though the majority of experts tell them that it was a terrible idea and it would have profound bad economic effects on the country. If you're about to say something preposterous, that like Michael Gove, to say that we're sick of experts, and you point out the obvious, which is, you know, this expert has been wrong in the past and experts are occasionally wrong. Well, yes, obviously all people are wrong, even people who use evidence to form an opinion. But what I would tell you in retort is that the majority of experts are almost never wrong. So if you look at the information in the round, you take all the views into account, and then you look at the majority view of people who are qualified to talk about that area, then you'll generally find probably more than 99.9% of the time that they are right. And therefore it's very dangerous to go against that opinion. That's what the country's just done, that's what Mr. Blair did, and it almost always ends in pain. Anyway, back to nice things. This is a nice path, isn't it? It's a nice day. World hasn't ended. So let's make the most of it. Sorry if that all sounds a bit told you so. That's certainly not what I intended. I think if I want you to take anything from this, it would be that you have to, before forming your opinion, make your best effort to source the facts. And then, for example, the fact is here that the towpath is flooded. My strong belief is that the best order in which to do things in order to form a worthwhile opinion, is to do the research first, to find out as much information as you can from both sides of the argument, and then once you have all the evidence in front of you, that's when you use your emotional judgment to come to a decision. If you start with an emotional reaction and then look for evidence, you'll most likely end up in the trap of confirmation bias, which is to say that you will look for the evidence that supports your opinion already and then find out that you were right all along, which is not so helpful. As you can see here, I'm fast running out of room in which to cross without getting wet. In fact, I may have already passed that point, so I'm going to have to up my pace a little. That's the highest tide I've seen in a while. Yeah, you usually get the spring tides, obviously, in spring, where you get super high tides and towpath floods. Haven't seen one of these that late in the year for a while. Anyway, making it slightly more exciting, I've only had to take 3 detours, but it has meant that I've been able to check the tennis score all the way. Federer's come from 2 sets down to win against Cilic, which is an amazing feat, but then he's the greatest tennis player of all time, so I don't know why I ever doubted him. So high tide is in about 10 minutes, so I'm feeling safe-ish. Made it. It's a very nice walk there. It's very pleasant. It's better when you're not wearing all black though, just as a useful piece of advice in the middle of the summer. You might not guess, but that's a really bad idea. So there we go. Here on Park Lane, that's what I've been this evening, by the house at the Motor Transport Awards. Yes, it is as glamorous as it sounds, like they all are. All these people are from the awards, so I better not say anything too disparaging too loudly. I'm now going home to bed because it's, you know, tomorrow. Finished reading board papers this morning. Please excuse the enormous groups of school children screaming. Yes, I spent all morning working through the board papers for tonight's board meeting that I can't go to. So I had to write notes and send them to the chair and what have you, which is, you know, it's a worthy exercise, but it's a shame when the weather's this nice. I haven't really had any other time to do it. Anyway, that's done now, so I'm out to enjoy myself and see what sort of chaos is in the gardens. The weather's so good today that, and it's supposed to be pretty good tomorrow. Oh no, actually, it's supposed to rain at some point midday tomorrow. Otherwise, I was going to say I might just come in and spend all day in Kew tomorrow, because we have a meeting with the caterers at Cambridge Cottage to talk about wedding things, wedding food more particularly. Don't rain tomorrow. Don't do it. I won't be happy. So, following on from the post-referendum debacle that seems to be going on in politics, where there's no leadership and no one knows what's happening, and even when there finally is, I'm sure we'll see yet again that our government is not capable of negotiating well. I have discovered, I don't know if I mentioned this, that I'm eligible for German citizenship under rules that essentially say that if your family's citizenship was removed by the Nazi regime, then you can apply to have it reinstated. So I've actually got the paperwork printed out, and I'm quite excited about it because I'm very European and I would much rather have citizenship of at least one country that is a member of the EU. So I'll be pursuing that imminently, let's say, and then I'll be half British, half German, which is quite interesting. That's all that currently exists of the Woodland House, but you know, the stilts are in, so now they've just got to, you know, put the house on and the ramp and do all the landscaping. So, you know, dead easy. So I'm going for a little lap now, and then I'm going to head back and have a shower and get changed and get ready for the mortgage awards. No need to get that excited. I'll take pictures, promise. So I'm currently crossing Westminster Bridge, heading towards the Park Plaza Hotel on that side. There's the Houses of Parliament, currently lacking any direction or leadership. For me, the bench. Very disappointing. So crossing back onto the south side where I feel safer. We are BMA16. It's the British Mortgage Awards. Yeah, it's all happening. All of it's all happened. All done. Right. Another award show done and dusted. I'm going to leave Park Plaza, get on a train, go home and go to bed.
Toby's stupid vlog.